So I teach at 10th Planet Chino Hills, and I've been training jujitsu for 7 years. I am a brown belt. I kind of started randomly at a UFC gym because I was taking boxing lessons, and the jujitsu coach Jeff Willingham, who's my professor today, he was like, "Hey, you should just try a class." And I jumped in, and I was very much like, let's just watch and see what happens. I wasn't into sparring. I didn't want to spar for the first couple weeks and stuff like that, but it kind of just it bit me. I got the bug and I got really involved, and I was super fortunate and blessed to have two male professors that really put a lot of time and effort and energy into my game. And unfortunately, when that program fell apart, I had to find instruction at other schools. And once I went other places, I was like, what is this? This is not okay. Like, and I did train at a gi school for about 4 years. I did leave that school due to issues a lot like what we're talking about today. And I am back at 10th Planet, and 10th Planet has given me so much support. It's not even funny. Mike John at 10th Planet Orange, that's where I train daily. He's been amazing and really gives a lot of attention to the women in the room. And like I said, Jeff Willingham, Doyle Teal out of Wolves Den, he's been a really big mentor of mine in jiu-jitsu. And now that I am teaching and I run Oasis Jiu-Jitsu Club, I think it's really important that we put a spotlight on female leadership as well as business ownership in our sport. So this was like the fourth time that this specifically has gone down like this. And I just kind of snapped, dude. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, man or woman, I am a brown belt. Like, you will respect me. You will respect my rank. So uh, this originally got my attention at a Naga Upland that happened about 2 months ago, where we took our team, 10th Planet Chino Hills, and I was asked to come help and coach because we had a lot of people on at the same time. Very hectic day running around. One of our white belts made it to his final match, and there was another 10th Planet team who was with him again, against him in the finals, and he lost pretty quickly. And it was another situation where I expected him to walk up to me and shake my hand, and I stuck my hand out, and he walked right past me. And I remember thinking like,
Wow.
okay. All right. So now on Sunday, I was coaching at Submission Only Series, which Submission Only Series, I have to say, is a huge supporter of women in Jiu-Jitsu. Mike Wilson is always advocating to get women on his card. He had AJ, which was a female referee for all of his matches. So I don't want anyone to misconstrue that what happened had anything to do with the event, because it did not. Um, my professor Jeff Willingham, he had a match and he asked me to come and coach, so I went up to go do so. And like I mentioned, Doyle ended up showing up also. So when it was time for Jeff to fight, I sat in the coach's chair. Doyle was standing next to me. We're both yelling instructions at Jeff. After the match, the opponent walks straight up to Doyle, shakes his hand. Again, I stick my hand, doesn't even look at me, and walks away. And I was like, all right, like, okay, bud, whatever, right? That's what I thought at first. And then Donna Gonzalez had a match immediately afterwards. And she brought one of her blue belt students to help corner her because I believe no one else was available that day. And she saw me shortly before she was about to go on, and she was like, hey, like, will you jump in my corner? I just brought one of my students, I would love the support. And I said, yes, I think Donna is so amazing. I've looked up to her in 10th Planet for very long time, ever since I was a white belt, and I felt very honored to support her in that moment. So kind of same thing. Once they're done, I do need to make sure I get the details on this right, because when I wrote my post, I gave kind of a blanket statement. It was not the opponent that did not shake my hand, it was her coach. So she got done with the match. She was all, adrenaline dump doing her thing. I totally get that. I have no hard feelings towards her. Been there, fully understand. Her coach walked over to our corner, and again, I was sitting in the coach's chair. I was yelling instructions to my fighter, and he chose to shake the man's hand next to me, who's a blue belt. And I just thought, wow, dude, like, I wildly outranked this kid, and you're gonna shake his hand instead of mine. Okay. And I had a really fun day. It was just something that I noticed that I felt needed to be touched on. And I felt like it could go one of two ways. Maybe no one saw it. Maybe some people saw it and felt the same way. And that's kind of what happened. I was very surprised at how many women had the exact same story. I hate to say it, but it's like when I'm dressed all cute, if I have like makeup on and stuff, they all just assume like, oh, you're someone's girlfriend. And someone even asked Jeff that. That's why I kind of quoted it. They're like, oh, is that your girlfriend? And he's like, no, that's my coach, dude. Like, so I think it's kind of like a two-part thing of like a general society issue, but it's also a specific issue in jiu-jitsu where women aren't being recognized as leaders or upper belts or someone who should be commanding respect by coaching.
Mhm. Encourage women to compete more. We need to
Yeah.
get the girls out there, encourage them, create some kind of a support system where we can help these girls. Maybe we can start fundraisers if the problem is money, if they don't have, the resources to pay these exorbitant fees. So help the women get out there so we have more women competing, and then put pressure on these promoters and these organizations to actually create opportunities for women, open more weight classes, uh, go after sponsors, get the money in so the women can get paid just like the guys, not be a sideshow like some of the ladies have mentioned, and just really put pressure. And if they're not going to do that, then we're going to stop attending their events. We have to do something like an activism at this
Yes,
point.
I agree fully, because we're asking for equality in three things when it comes to competition, right? And I think so. Let me list these three things. We're looking for equality when it comes to weight classes. We're looking for equality when it comes to opportunity, and we're looking for equality when it comes to pay. Very simple, right? So I can see why some women are not looking to compete, knowing that that landscape has these challenges. So I think it's really important that today's generation is standing up so that tomorrow's generation can have a better future. And maybe once the competition playing field is a little bit more even, more women would be more inspired to go and compete. I absolutely love Jiujiteira Magazine. I think what you're doing for all of the women in our sport is very, very important. And taking the time to interview the women that are looking to speak on these issues is it's super valuable and very important. And I think once, whether you're just starting white belt or a world champion black belt, a lot of us have very similar experiences. And I think if we all band together and, like you said, use an activism style approach to demand change, we can absolutely force a difference in our sport.